Urgent Washington Commanders fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Washington Commanders updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Hey, Commanders fans, today we've got some really intriguing news that's been buzzing around the NFL circles, and I'm here to break it all down for you. Now, I know you're probably sitting there wondering what's the latest scoop involving our beloved team, and I promise, it's something that could shake up the way we look at the roster moving forward. You see, the Washington Commanders, as you all know, have been making some serious efforts this offseason to surround their star quarterback, Jayden Daniels, with the best weapons possible. This is a team that's clearly committed to building something special, something that can compete at the highest level in the league, and they've been doing their homework, making smart moves, and trying to find those hidden gems that can really turn a game around. But here's where it gets interesting. Recently, there's been some talk about potentially adding a wide receiver who, at first glance, might seem like a long shot, someone who's been somewhat controversial and has quite a complicated backstory, but who also possesses incredible talent. Yes, I'm talking about Isaiah Bond, a player who, not so long ago, was considered a top prospect coming out of college. This guy was projected to be a second-round pick, a guy with blazing top-end speed, excellent yards after the catch, and a versatility that made him extremely attractive to NFL teams. He was seen as a potential game-changer in the right system, a receiver who could stretch defenses and make those big plays down the field. Now, the story takes a sharp turn. Despite his on-field talent, Isaiah Bond's draft stock took a nosedive after some serious off-the-field issues came to light. Bond, during the draft evaluation phase, was viewed as a rising star, a player that many teams would have loved to add to their receiver core. But then, things changed dramatically. Bond turned himself in over an outstanding warrant for an alleged sexual assault, which instantly cast a shadow over his future. He was released after posting a $25,000 bond, and ever since, the situation has been very murky. He has since filed a federal lawsuit against his accuser, claiming defamation and maintaining his innocence, but the NFL and the teams are watching very carefully. This legal drama has created a huge barrier for any team looking to bring him into their organization. The NFL is very cautious about players with such serious allegations, especially when they're still unresolved. Teams are not going to risk their locker room culture or their reputation by bringing in someone who's embroiled in such controversy until all the facts are clear and the legal process has played out. And, of course, right now, that makes Isaiah Bond a non-starter for most teams, including the Washington Commanders. This is where speculation kicks in. Landon Bellotti from the Right Way Sports Network recently suggested that the Commanders should consider taking a shot at Bond, even though the situation is complicated. He believes that the talent is just too good to ignore, and in the right environment, Bond might be able to get back on the right track, if he's given the chance and if everything clears up legally. But for the Commanders, and for most NFL teams, the risk outweighs the reward at this moment. The team has been very deliberate about character and integrity, especially with the kind of locker room culture they've built. You see, Washington has cultivated a reputation for having a strong, cohesive environment, players who are dedicated, disciplined, and who uphold a certain standard both on and off the field. That's something owner Josh Harris and coach Ron Rivera are very proud of, and they're not going to jeopardize that just for a potential talent upgrade. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. So, looking at the big picture, you have a player with undeniable talent but also a highly controversial background that creates a huge dilemma. The Commanders, like most NFL franchises, are very cautious about character issues, especially after recent years where off-the-field incidents have led to serious consequences for other teams. The NFL's emphasis on character, community, and professionalism has only increased, and teams are more diligent than ever when it comes to assessing potential signings. The risk here is not just legal or reputational but also about team chemistry and locker room harmony. Now, it's important to understand that the Commanders' front office has been very strategic in their offseason moves. They've focused on building a roster with proven performers, players who bring leadership, character, and consistency. Their goal is to develop a competitive team that can contend for the playoffs, and they've been making smart draft choices, signing reliable free agents, and emphasizing a culture of accountability. Bringing in a player like Isaiah Bond, with all his talent, would be a gamble that might not align with their current organizational philosophy. On the other hand, from a purely talent perspective, adding a receiver like Bond could give the Commanders a real boost in their passing game. Imagine the deep threat, the yards after catch, and the explosiveness he could bring to the offense. Jaden Daniels, as the quarterback, would certainly benefit from having a weapon with such speed and versatility at his disposal. But, as you all know, football is not just about talent, it's about team dynamics, trust, and shared values. And right now, the risk of introducing such a controversial figure into the locker room seems too high for the Commanders' management. Looking ahead, there's always the possibility that Bond's situation could evolve. Maybe the legal issues get resolved favorably, or perhaps he finds a team willing to take a chance in the future, once the dust settles. But for now, it appears that the Commanders are steering clear of this particular controversy. Their focus remains on players who embody the qualities they value: leadership, character, and consistency. It's a philosophy that has served them well in recent seasons, especially under the leadership of Ron Rivera, who emphasizes building a strong, disciplined team. Let's also consider the broader context of the NFC East this season. The division is highly competitive, with teams like the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants all making moves to strengthen their rosters. The Commanders know they have to be smart and strategic if they want to climb the standings. Every addition, every move, has to align with their long-term vision of building a sustainable, winning franchise. So, while the temptation to chase a high-upside player like Bond might be tempting, the reality is that their focus is on stability and character. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Commanders have been making some intriguing moves elsewhere. They've invested in their offensive line, brought in veteran players to bolster their defense, and are working on developing their young talent. The draft last year was quite promising, with a few picks showing potential to become key contributors in the near future. The team's coaching staff, led by Ron Rivera and his staff, have been emphasizing discipline, effort, and team cohesion, values that are critical when you're trying to turn the corner and become a playoff contender. Of course, every NFL season brings surprises, and teams often have to adapt quickly. Injuries, unforeseen developments, or breakout performances can change the trajectory of a team overnight. That's why fans should stay tuned and keep supporting the squad, because the Washington Commanders are in a building phase, and every decision they make now will have ripple effects down the line. The front office is carefully weighing their options, balancing the desire for talent with the need for stability, and trying to craft a team that can not only compete but also represent the values of their organization. And let's not forget the passionate fan base that's been behind this team through thick and thin. The energy at FedEx Field has been electric in recent games, especially as the team showed flashes of promise last season. The community support is strong, and the players know they are playing for more than just wins. They're playing for the pride of Washington, D.C., and for the fans who have stuck with them through the ups and downs. The team's future is bright, but it's also filled with tough decisions, like whether to take a gamble on a talented but controversial player like Isaiah Bond. In conclusion, the story of Isaiah Bond's potential addition to the Commanders is a perfect example of how NFL teams have to weigh every factor carefully. Talent versus character, risk versus reward, stability versus upside, these are the questions that management faces every day. The Commanders have shown a clear preference for building a team with high-character players, and while Bond's talent is undeniable, the current circumstances make it highly unlikely he'll be part of the roster anytime soon. But, as always in the NFL, things can change quickly, and the landscape of player transactions is constantly shifting. Fans should stay alert and keep their eyes on the latest developments because the NFL offseason is never dull, and the Washington Commanders are always in the thick of the action. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the team should take a chance on Isaiah Bond once his legal issues are resolved? Or do you agree that character and team chemistry come first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of this team. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned and keep supporting the Commanders. Together, we're building something special, and every step counts in this journey to greatness.